It was an interesting weekend in Vegas. It was one of those weekends you walk away from wins and losses. Obviously, we're disappointed losing 2 out of the 3 and losing 2 games by 3 runs, a total of 3 runs. It was disappointing in that fact, but from an experience standpoint, especially Thursday night against UNLV, we swung the bats great. Offensively, we were fantastic. But pitching-wise, we struggled for the first time all year. So being able to try to figure out a way to overcome that, as well as we had 4 errors, and we gave UNLV every opportunity that they needed and wanted that night, and they took advantage of it. They had a lot of big 2-out hits, and we had some frustrating mistakes. But they were mistakes where I'd rather it happen now and get it out of our system and see it. I think a lot of them were those mistakes where coaches have been telling freshmen that this is going to happen, and it hasn't happened yet, and it finally did, and they walked off the field going, okay, I understand now. So a lot of those situations on Thursday night, but still frustrating to lose a 1-run game when our offense was clicking and we were doing a great job of getting on base and moving runners and taking advantage of the opportunities that UNLV gave us. But we bounced back on Friday against Idaho State, and another experience situation there for us. It was the first time all year where I felt like our team wasn't ready to go, and obviously that comes down to the coaches making sure that they're prepared. They just didn't have that fight in them right from the start of the game, and they were just kind of going through the motions, and it was just another game. And, we talk about, especially last week, focusing on the details and making sure that we take care of the ball and making sure that we play with a lot of energy. And bottom line is our program's built on out-hustling the opponent and scrapping and doing everything we can, win or lose, that we were going to compete our butts off, and we weren't doing that. And we finished that game and found a way to beat Idaho State. And then in the second game against Colorado State, it was just another one of those. We just didn't pitch very well. We walked and hit batters and gave them pretty much every run that they needed early in the game, and then it was just too tough for us to overcome. We hit some atom balls, line drive outs, and took ourselves out of some situations where we could have really been got ourselves back in the game and taken a lead, but we ran ourselves out base running wise. We get a big line drive hit to the right fielder. We get picked off first base. We get picked off of first base in the situation where we had a runner in front of us. So we weren't going anywhere, but we got picked off. So things like that just made it really difficult when you're talking about winning a game. But like I said, I think a lot of situations came up that were coachable that I'd rather have happen early in the season rather than once we get into the league, because we know that all those mistakes that happen this weekend will cost us dearly when it comes to Valley play. So good for us to experience some of those things. Moving ahead to going down to Ruston, Louisiana, we've got another good weekend of games scheduled. We start off with Grambling State. We play Sam Houston State twice. Louisiana Tech, who's played some really good teams and has a good winning percentage right now, and then finish up with McNeese State, who is, I wouldn't say that they're a team that people know right off the top of their head when it comes to softball, but if you're a softball person, you know how dangerous they are and how good of a program that McNeese State has, and so we'll finish up the weekend with them and keep things rolling. Any questions?
Those were your first outdoor games?
Yep.
Yes. How did that factor in, and what did you see just being outdoors for the first time?
I felt like early, because we came out and scored 3 runs in the first inning, and we were swinging the bats great, and I thought maybe that was one of those things where you come from indoors to outdoors, and all of a sudden the ball looks about 2 or 3 inches bigger than it normally did. I don't know that it affected us too much defensively. It was a hard field, so it was much like playing defense in the dome. So I don't think that was a huge factor for us. It might have affected our pitchers a little bit from the standpoint of maybe that's why they weren't hitting the zone as much as they had been. But obviously something that we've got to work through. Hopefully get outside 2 times this week before we head down there and get some of those things worked out.
The be interesting to know too, you go to Vegas, you go to Louisiana, how does